Get ready.
Hi, this is Kaz Riley, and this is another episode of Trancing in the Sheets. And today with me, I've got a very old friend of mine who is extremely knowledgeable about the foods of love. But we'll come to her in a moment. When you signed up for this network, if you remember, and you've probably heard me say this a million times now, and everybody else, but you were sent a link, and you need to go and activate that link to get your voucher for a $200 gift card, which you can use against hotels, car hire, and other things too for lots of destinations all around the world. So don't forget to go and activate that. I'll just bring my mic in a bit, and we'll go and meet the wonderful Anna Ferguson. Anna is also known as Fitness Fergie. She is a nutritionist, a personal trainer, a BWRT therapist. She works from the whole mind-body connection, you know, the full package in a very holistic way. She and I have worked together for many, many years, and I'm very happy to welcome you to the show today, Anna. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So today we're talking about the food of love, but obviously what we mean by that is how important that relationship that we have with ourselves, that relationship that we have with food, and you know, the things that we put into our body are extremely important in terms of how we feel about ourselves as people, self-worth, sexually, libido, all of those kinds of things have a basis in nutrition, don't they?
They do indeed, yeah. So if you're feeling bad and you're not taking in all your nutrients, then it's going to affect every area of your life, really.
So I know. So sexuality and sex and relationships, but of course we can't have great ones of those with other people until we kind of love ourselves a bit, can we? And you know that's the crux, I think, of any great relationship, you know, the ones that we have with ourselves first. So how do you work with all the areas that you cover? Because I know, you know, we've done personal training sessions together and all kinds of stuff over the years, we've
done a lot of Zumba, haven't we?
We've done a lot of Zumba and all kinds of stuff. It's important, isn't it, to get that mind-body connection going. So what we're putting in is kind of what we're getting out. So tell us a bit more about that.
So I think for many people, they really struggle with energy. Yeah, so energy is a big, massive thing. You know, you get people saying they're too tired to be showing the love to their loved ones, and just feeling a bit kind of lethargic and run down. So I'm massively into B vitamins. B vitamins are your perky vitamins, you know, and you find these things in asparagus and things like that. And it just so happens that asparagus is one of those foods of love that they like to talk about. So yeah, if you're taking in your B vitamins, you're going to be feeling perky. You're going to be wanting to be a sexual, happy, healthy being.
Well, B vitamins as well are super important, where like through the menstrual cycle, hormone balancing, all that kind of stuff as well, aren't they? So
yeah,
it kind of stands to reason that if you're getting, you know, eating your asparagus and other things with B vitamins in, you know, you'll just feel more balanced anyway, which then helps you feel, well, you know, if we feel balanced, then we can kind of feel the self-love, if you like, we can appreciate ourselves then, you know.
Completely. Yeah, and I think you really touched a nerve. I'm meeting lots and lots of ladies that aren't really looking after themselves. That self-love isn't really there. And so, as you said, if you can't kind of show yourself that self-love, then it's really hard to show someone else, you know. But also, you know, you work with the brain, I work with the brain, but nutrition also works with the brain, and that's where it all starts, really.
Absolutely. I think people forget that, because I know with hypnosis, we often talk about how, you know, there's no point doing all the things to the body if you're not then managing what's happening with the mind. So if you can exercise, you can get good nutrition, but if you're not managing what's happening with the mind, then it's pointless. But people forget the reverse of this is true as well. So you could have a positive mindset, but then if you're not kind of walking your talk and you're not putting good stuff, you're not taking the exercise, then it's just as fruitless as if you've just got this great mindset. We need the balance, don't we?
Oh, completely. I mean, 100%. So I think with a lot of people, they're either doing one or the other and they're not doing the two together. So if it's in the head, it's in the body. If it's in the body, it's in the head, you know. So it's they both affect each other massively. And of course, this has a knock-on effect with confidence. It has a knock-on effect with all kinds of things. And as you know, just in life in general, if your confidence isn't there, then that kind of affects every area of your life.
And this is it. We're not just talking self-confidence. We're talking body confidence, body positivity. And, you know, we're not saying that you have to be a particular weight to have that, or you have to look a particular way. What we're saying is good nutrition. If your body's got all the nutrients, the minerals, the vitamins, those macronutrients, the right levels of fiber, all that kind of stuff, then it stands to reason that you will feel better no matter what you do with your mind. You know, if you're not doing those things, and then if you add in all the positive thought, self-love, self-worth, that confidence, then we get a holistic kind of confidence rather than just one area, don't we?
Yeah, completely. So the physical, you know, as I said, Karen and I have done a lot of Zumba over the years. And we used to have a wiggle and a giggle, and this, you know, makes you feel good, and it's a bit of fun, and everyone's got a smile on their face. And so you can work physically that way, and exercise is amazing for making you feel self-confident and also getting rid of any excess hormones and bad moods that we have. We can just exercise them away. Nutritionally, if we're deficient in something, then the body's not going to be happy. And I do believe that people can be physically depressed or physically anxious. If the body's dehydrated, it'll become physically anxious. And people will feel that and they'll say, oh, it's just emotional. But the body's responding to the stress of being dehydrated or nutrient deficient. And a lot of people now can be nutritionally starving and calorie dense, you know. And then, of course, when you bring the mind into it, you know, it's going to affect the mind. But if your self-worth and your confidence and everything has taken a little bit of a battering, which life can do that sometimes, can't it? We've got to have all three, really, to really ramp up the feelings of self-love.
Absolutely. And then, of course, if we do that, if we address things like, you know, our nutrition and our mindset and all that kind of stuff, then, you know, we can then, you know, we're much more able to accept and give in a balanced, healthy relationship. You know, we're more able to, or, you know, to be able to engage more, because if we feel good about our bodies, we feel good about ourselves. When it comes to things like sex, then, you know, people can engage in together in a way where they're coming from a place of feeling good rather than looking, say, for fidelity from another person to make
completely. And also, you know, there's a growing number of guys now. People think this is a lady problem, but there's a growing number of guys that are feeling insecure in themselves. You know, we kind of get hung up on the old age thing, don't we? You know, like getting to a certain age, we're getting older, we're not 25 anymore. But, you know, there's many a good tune played on an old fiddle, as they say. You know? And I just think, you know, if you have that confidence and you can be with someone physically and mentally, then that takes it to a different level, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely, because if you've got the energy and you're feeling good about your body, you know, in terms of, you just know it's healthy, you know, it's been exercised, you know, that, you know, and you feel good about who you are, you've got rid of other hang-ups and things. And often it's as people get older that in terms of their love lives, their relationships, their sex lives, it really blossoms, isn't it? Because they start to lose some of the hang-ups and they're able just to go with what they want and enjoy and can just be with somebody, rather than, you know, some of the things that, you know, maybe they suffered with when they were younger, which is, what do I look like? How does it feel? Am I any good? You know, all these kinds of questions. But if they know they've ticked all those boxes and they've got that self-worth and they're feeling good and, you know, they're full of asparagus, I don't know.
I love almonds, selenium, magnesium, zinc, the shellfish and the oysters, and they're full of zinc. Zinc is great for your libido. But you can ask some of your listeners out there. My mum always used to say, she says, she got to around 40 and she stopped caring what other people thought. So it kind of freed her mind. She didn't care so much about what other people thought and things. And then it was also around that time that she started looking at her body differently. So, you can see it on social media, younger generation, it's all more about looks and everything. And when you get to a certain age, it starts to become more about health.
Well, this is it. Yeah, it's because much more about health, longevity, and the amount of people that come here, for things like that. I'll ask them what their motivation is. For a lot of people, it'll be like, I want it to be more attractive. I want to look at people a different way. Now they're saying, I don't want to have a heart attack, and I want to make sure that I'm protecting myself from having a stroke, and I've got a family history of. And I want to make sure that that's not happening. And I think that's, as you say, as we get older, that becomes more important. And of course, sex is great exercise as well. So it's just something else that's good for you. It makes you feel good. It ticks
Sexercise.
Sexercise.
Yeah. No, I think as well, what becomes even more important is that connection. I saw actually a really great quote the other day. It says, connection is incredibly powerful, and some types of attachment can suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get that connection when you're worried about what you look like, or whether you're going to have a heart attack, or when you're worried about your body, what it looks like, what its health is like, whether you feel good, whether you've got enough energy. It's really hard to give of yourself to the other person.
I guess what we're saying here is that nobody's saying you have to look a particular way. Nobody's saying you have to behave a particular way. But, fundamentally, nobody's even saying what you should eat. What we're saying is that you have to, it's that old, isn't it? My body is a temple. And, if you want to feel worshipped, in the way that, and looked after and all that kind of stuff, then we have to treat ourselves with that same care as well. And it's not just about one element of the mind or the body or nutrition. It's getting this kind of, everything's a crossover and it's very complex, but actually it's not difficult, is it? And I think that's something that you bring to people, is that actually this is much easier than they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, completely. So there's just the fundamentals, really, the water, the sleep. I had a bit of a joke with a client. I always say, eat a rainbow, not Skittles. Eat a rainbow, and it's kind of getting all that feel-good food into you, real good, honest, wholesome food and sleep and water. We are sunshine people as well, getting outside. We're just like plants, really, over-emotional plants.
But it's a good analogy, isn't it? Because if you don't have the right nutrients and you don't have the right amount of water, and we do need the fresh air and the sunshine, and we need to be in the right environment, don't we? And nurtured and looked after and all the rest of it, then we do wilt. And one of the first things to go is libido. If somebody wilts, often one of the first things that will go which is almost like a telltale sign sometimes.
Yeah, completely.
Is their libido, which I always say is life force. It's not about sex necessarily. It's about life force. So it's actually a good indicator. If that's disappearing away for somebody, then it's not necessarily the menopause. Especially for women, it gets blamed a lot for that. And I have to say, I have seen women who've been in long relationships and saying the libido's gone. For whatever reason, the relationship ends. They meet somebody else, their hormone levels are exactly the same, and yet suddenly their libido's on fire.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, it wasn't the menopause.
No, not
but often they've started to look after themselves better. They've started to, they've got something that's engaging, but they are eating better. They suddenly feel worthy of taking care of themselves. And I think that's super important, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a great book by Leslie Kenton called Passage to Power about the menopause and using nutrition and just finding your power in that moment. It's quite funny because she uses the word old crone quite a lot, but in a positive way. You know, the crone isn't about to take any muck. She's going to respect herself, and she's going to give her body what it needs, and now is the time for her, you know. So it's quite an empowering way of looking at the menopause, and it doesn't have to go hand in hand. I'm going through an early menopause myself, and when you go to the doctors, they have the lists. You know, you're suffering from insomnia. Oh, well, I can do. Yeah, you're suffering from this, you're suffering, and they go, you're suffering from low libido, and I go, no, and they go, oh, well, it can't be the menopause. No, hold on. Just because I'm not suffering from low libido doesn't mean I'm not going through the menopause. It doesn't have to go hand in hand.
No, and in fact, often it doesn't, and quite often for a lot of women, and this is something that, you know, I've spoken to a lot of my clients about, is that, you know, the libido will actually go up, and the reason for that is suddenly they're not having to worry about getting pregnant. You know, all the things that they've kind of worried that, you know, might happen or could happen suddenly aren't a concern anymore, and actually it can be really liberating.
Yeah, completely.
Plus, like we were saying, you get to that age where you kind of press the fuck it button, and that's complete self-acceptance. It's like, here I am. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we've talked at length at this. You know, we're not all meant to look the same or be the same, and we should value the strengths and the character and the physicality and everything that we bring to the table as individuals. You know, we're just wanting to feel as good as we possibly can, really, and that brings with it, you know, the nutrition and the exercise and the mind-body connection. So if that's strong, then you're gonna feel good no matter what.
Absolutely. Now, I'm sure people would love to know if there are foods that you could eat that would, you know, the foods of love, if you like.
Foods of love, yeah.
So what are they? Come on, tell us your secrets.
Okay, so we've got, this is my favourite, to be honest with you, honey. So honey can be used, you know, on anything really. With it's a natural sugar. It's a nice, evenly, keeps your blood sugars nice.
So when we're saying used on anything, we're not talking body paint here, are we? We're talking on bread.
You see, I knew.
But you know, it could be.
Listen, however you get the honey in, I don't mind really. Let's get the honey in. Right.
Let's get the honey. Okay,
yeah,
so honey's a good one.
Honey. It's true what they say about oysters, because they're full of zinc and it, you know, fish and everything, and selenium is great for the brain, and it's great for the libido and things like that. Things like almonds are full of selenium and zinc and B vitamins as well. Of course, we've spoken about asparagus, and there is no mistake that people reach for chocolate when they want a bit of comfort, they want a bit of love, you know, because that chemical reaction that chocolate has with the body. And I'm not talking dirty chocolate here. I'm talking good quality, gorgeous chocolate, you know, and also the dark chocolate can actually affect cells themselves, you know, like the you know, outside of the cell. It can actually penetrate that. So you really want to be taking in good quality chocolate, and it stirs up all those feelings of love for yourself, you know. So these are just natural ways of getting all the nutrients that you need that are going to make you feel good. And if you feel good and you've got all the zinc and the selenium and the B vitamins and things like that, then your libido is going to be very healthy.
That is the perfect place to kind of end that conversation. Thank you so much. So tell us about your websites and where we can find you, because I know you have got some amazing online programs that are tried and tested by thousands of people now. Yeah.
So I've got a few websites. I've got fitness-fusion.co.uk. That's my Fitness Fergie website, where you find all the nutrition and the fitness. And then I've also got my brain working recursive therapy website, which is just bwrttherapy.com. And there you can find out about how that works with the brain and we can use that to get rid of unwanted behaviours that we simply don't need, unwanted programs that we don't need anymore. And then I've got my foodfreedom.com, foodfreedomclass.com actually, where people who are suffering from emotional eating, binge eating, things like that, we've not spoken about this, but sometimes life can throw us a few curveballs. You'll have seen lots of this, where people kind of get consumed by maybe diet mentality or binge eating, emotional eating, work, all kinds of things. And what happens then is you don't have a chance to think about libido or health or anything, because you're just focusing on what's taken over your life, kind of thing.
Absolutely. So all of those websites, we'll put all of those in the captions, and people can click through, or they can certainly find out where to find you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's lovely to have you. Two Yorkshire girls, the first time on this show. What more could our audience want? So thank you so much. And from Yorkshire back to America, where the wonderful Sean Michael Andrews resides, the world's fastest hypnotist. He is the master of inductions and all kinds of wonderful things. He shows a lot of people how to use inductions, rapid inductions and things in the therapy room, which is a great way of doing therapy, and making everything a real performance, really. He's got some amazing guests. So don't forget to check out his show. But until next time, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you again soon on Trancing in the Sheets. Thanks for joining us.
Get ready.